Hello everyone, I am your host the Knight and welcome to my thoughts on Gladiator II. Here we go. So right off the bat, I feel like we need to address the elephant in the room about this being a continuation of the original Gladiator story. Even though, spoiler warning, Maximus died in the first film. Now how this technically works, or how Ridley Scott made this work, was that even though Maximus died at the end of the movie, it was not the end of the overall story, just the end of Maximus' story. And that the second one continues and fully concludes the first story of fulfilling the Emperor's dream of giving Rome back to the people and back to the Senate. So even though at first it might not seem like there was a need for a second movie, the fact that Ridley Scott was able to take his original work, see what he wanted to conclude, and then add that into the second film was pretty impressive. So even though it seemed like it should have been a one and done movie, I have to give credit towards Ridley Scott for being able to see how he could fully conclude an already written story. Also, addressing another elephant in the room, is this film as good as the first one? No, but it was still a great film. The only real issue that this film has, and kind of continuity error, are the twin emperors in it. The acting for both characters was fantastic. It was they did an excellent job portraying these characters. The issue that both of them have is that it's hinted that they are the previous emperor's children who he abandoned when they were younger. The problem with that though is that the original movie never addresses this, so having them kind of thrown in just doesn't really make a lot of sense on how they're able to claim the throne. But nevertheless, Ridley Scott was able to work their characters in enough to where it didn't really matter. You could still notice it, but their acting and their portrayals in this film were good enough to where it didn't bother me as much. One of the critiques I heard before I watched this movie was that Denzel Washington's main character felt out of place. I would actually have to disagree with that, because I feel as though the reason people felt that way is because Denzel Washington is known for movies like The Book of Eli and Glory and The Equalizer, more of where he's the main character and he's also the good guy. I know he has portrayed villain roles before, but I don't think people are used to him portraying a villain, so it threw people off when he was. Also, there were some line deliveries that felt a little out of place, but he did an excellent job of playing the ominous rising threat of the film, and I think he should be given proper due credit for that. Since we're talking about the other actors as well, I do think characters like Pedro Pascal also deserve a shout out for this film. The big issue I had with characters like Pedro Pascal is he did a fantastic job in acting as the character. The problem I had is we didn't get enough of him. I wanted more. He did a great job, but we just weren't given enough. The other thing about this movie that I did like is the main character. He did a great job of his main lead role. Some issues I had is that it felt like the line delivery or the way they had him act in the film had him portray a bit too much of Maximus. He had more of Maximus's speech and bravado, which kind of made some of his line deliveries feel a bit forced instead of genuine. But he, everyone in this film, brought their A game when it came to acting and portraying this story. There's the cinematography, the music, the fighting, the choreography, heck, the brutality was all fantastic. The things I have listed off so far are flaws I saw in it, but it was genuinely a great movie to see. It was entertaining, it was fun, not as good as the first one, but it was a good story. Ridley Scott didn't completely butcher it, and in no means do I think it degrades the original story either. It actually, in my opinion, it adds to it. So props to him and props to his team and the scriptwriters and all the actors for portraying a great film. Personally, I would give this film a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was great. The CGI monkeys were a bit of a stretch, but they were good. They made up for it with a character known as Dantes. Like I said, slight spoilers, but he was a genuinely cute monkey who is not CGI, so good job for you on that. But yeah, those are all my thoughts on Gladiator 2. Again, great cinematography, fantastic acting, a very clean story with slight flaws because they don't connect to the original, but again, those can somewhat be overlooked. If you just want to go see a good movie, I would recommend going to see this one because the story is there, the plot is there. It does follow a bit of the storyline that the first Gladiator, but then it stretches into its own storyline and its own path, and I think it did an excellent smooth transition into that. So again, I would recommend this movie. 9.5 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this. Be sure to like and comment your thoughts on this movie so we could have a discussion in the comments down below. Try to keep the spoilers to a minimum though for people who haven't seen it. But until then, I will see you in the next video. God bless you and take care.